Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the public forum here on a group exhibit, Hydrogen and Fuel Cells. We are continuing our program now with the Hessian fuel cell forklift campaign. And I would like to invite all of you to sit down, have a coffee in the morning, and discuss with us about the Hessian fuel cell forklift campaign. I would like to introduce to you right next to me Dr. Joachim Wolf. He is chairman of the board of the Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Initiative Hessian. And we would like to introduce to you Andreas. He is project manager at the GmbH Hochdruck-Reduziertechnik GmbH. Nice to have you here. And also on your right-hand side, I would like to say welcome to Steven Westenholz from H2 Logic. He's sales manager at H2 Logics. Good to have you here. And whenever you have a question, please raise your hand and I'll come to you with my microphone and we can talk about your question right away. So I would like first to point out what is the Hessian Fuel Cell and Hydrogen Initiative. Dr. Wolf, what do you do in Hessian there?
First of all, we are a private organization. We have approximately 60 members, better now. 60 members from the industry and a lot of members.
Oh, I think you get a handheld microphone right away because yeah, you can have mine.
Okay. So I start again. Sorry for this. We are a private organization. The Hessen.
Yeah. Hold it very close. Yeah.
I think it works now. Again. Okay. Sorry for this. Private organization, 60 members out of the industry, a lot of members from the private position. We are looking for a good business of especially companies inside Hessen. We are looking for the introduction of renewable energies on the field of hydrogen and fuel cell. Therefore also the name. Thank you for the tone. The name Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Initiative of Hessen. Yeah. Short introduction.
Dr. Wolf, if you compare Hessian to other countries in Germany, like say maybe Baden-Württemberg or Lower Saxony, where do you see Hessian in the field of hydrogen and fuel cells nowadays?
I'm sure we are not so bad. We are supported also by the Ministry of Environmental Energy and so on, and I think we do a lot. We do it systematically. We have not only themes, we are looking every year what can we do, for example, with the energy change in Germany. We looked for storage, for regulative energy, such kind of things, and we build up our activities with workshops, with introduction of the themes, so that we can support finally projects on this. In comparison with the others, I think we are very good.
I think so too, actually, Dr. Wolf, and I'm very proud to have you here on stage. And you're also initiating some campaigns, and one of the campaigns we would like to talk about today, the Hessian Fuel Cell Forklift campaign. We're talking about a forklift, Mr. Westenholz, which is here on the group exhibit. You just have to go down the aisle, and there you can see it. What's so special about that forklift?
Well, the forklift is an electrical-based forklift, but not with a battery, but has a fuel cell system which sufficiently supplies energy for the forklift. So basically it's like driving an electric forklift, a battery-driven forklift, but in this case powered by a fuel cell, which allows long range and a very quick refueling. So yeah, continuous operation, that's the main benefit.
So what you have in this forklift is you have a fuel cell in there and a hydrogen tank, probably.
Yes, it's a complete system. It's a hybrid system. It has a small battery pack, a fuel cell system, a hydrogen storage, and of course the balance of plant that makes the whole system work. The entire system is confined within the normal space of, or the battery compartment of the forklift.
This is in RX 6025 from Still, and was a little bit funded also by a High Lift Europe project. What was this project about?
Yes, correct. It's the project. Well, actually, there's two projects, both funded by the FCHJU. The first one was the High Lift demo, which is completed now, and the continuation project is the High Lift Europe project, which started in the beginning of this year, and which allows for a larger number of vehicles to be demonstrated in let's say real life, real working environment at real customers, and in a real situation.
That's exactly what you're trying to do the next 6 months, indeed. What are the advantages of a fuel cell forklift? Well, as we all know, if you burn hydrogen in a fuel cell, you don't burn it, I know, but you put it into your fuel cell, the end product will be only water and nothing else, no emissions.
Well, the main advantage of a fuel cell system is that you have the zero emissions. There's no emissions other than water, heat, and it offers the continuous operation because there's no time or no need for battery charging or battery swapping. So basically you're gaining the advantage of the electrical or the battery forklift while maintaining the range and the quick refueling of an internal combustion engine forklift. So we're combining the advantages of
the best of the two worlds, indeed, yes. Mr. Andreas, but if you have a fuel cell forklift truck, you still need a filling station, of course, and that's what you provided.
Yeah, we have had the opportunity to develop, funded by the Hessen organization, a mobile H2 filling station. The basic idea was not to do a filling station for cars where you need a lot of energy to cool down the hydrogen, but to have a mobile filling station which can be pulled by a normal car. So the weight of the filling station is below 1,400 kilogram, and we have two filling lines, 350 and 700 bar. The hydrogen is stored at 700 bar. We have approximately 9 kilogram hydrogen on board, so we can refill several times the forklifter without using any infrastructure. But in this case, as it is a longer project for 1 month, we will have a bottle of hydrogen close to the filling station, and once the forklifter has been refilled, we can use this time to refill the filling station up to the maximum pressure.
Mr. Andreas, we just heard in the interview before there are only 17 filling stations in Germany so far openly available. You have a mobile filling station. Could you imagine that this could be the future of filling station, that the station comes to the consumer, not the other way around?
Yeah, at the moment, as we have no infrastructure and you want to use fuel cell forklifters or other fuel cell systems, to build up an infrastructure would be quite expensive. Though the idea was to, until we don't have the volume, to have a filling station, which is, as you said, coming to the customer, not the customer coming to one filling station, which could be somewhere within Germany, and there we have the opportunity with this filling station to really bring the hydrogen and the filling process to where it is used.
Mr. Andreas, you don't produce your own hydrogen, or do you?
No, not for the moment. The next step would be, of course, to integrate an electrolyzer on this filling station, which could be connected to a wind park or to a solar park, and instead of shutting this down to produce with the over energy, which cannot be absorbed by the net, to use this to produce the hydrogen, and then to have really complete CO2-free emission and of redundant energy produced hydrogen, and this would be an interesting next step.
But at the moment you get the reformed hydrogen, industrial gases probably. Okay. And how long does the fueling take?
As we are not using the CEP protocol, which would ask us to cool down the hydrogen to -33 degrees, which is a very energy consumption process, and we wanted to stay on the 220 volt technology, which gives us 16 ampere as maximum power. So we said for demonstration projects, I think it's not necessary to refill a forklifter within the 3 minutes, and during winter We have summer now, but we could still use, we would need in this temperatures approximately 3 to 5 minutes to refill it. So we would not be so much better than a normal filling station. But in summer we would have to extend it due to the temperature rising of the hydrogen during the filling process.
Okay, we have to understand that. When you when you fill up your tank, you lower the pressure of 700 bar, what you provide down to 350 bar, which is in the tank of the fuel cell forklift truck, and this makes it warm.
Yeah. Now this would heat up the tank, so in order not to heat up the tank too much, because the maximum temperature of the tank systems are for the moment between 65 and 80 degree. So if you have outside temperatures of 40, let's say 30, 40 degree, which sometimes happens in Europe, you would take a quite long time. So for this we are thinking to try to find a very easy possibility to cool down the filling filling hydrogen to extend it not longer than 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's something different, Mr. Westenholz, than charging a battery. You need 4 to 6 or 8 hours to charge a whole battery, which is a big advantage because forklift trucks are used in shifts, in shifts who are running round the clock.
That's correct. Is the mic on?
Yeah.
Okay, that's correct. It's exactly not having to change the batteries, even though battery swapping has become more sufficient. It's still an advantage that the continuous operation. I would just like to comment on the mobile refueler there. As a forklift or a fuel cell system provider for forklifts, having a mobile unit will actually very much promote the sales of forklifts, because customers would want to try the technology before they go out and buy. It's like, you know, buying a new car. You want to test it, you want to drive it, you take it around the block or whatever, and by having a mobile unit that will actually come to the customer, this will provide us the opportunity to let the customer test the forklift for 2, 3, 4 weeks or whatever, and then the customer can on a solid basis make a decision to permanently buy fuel cell forklifts and thus also install a permanent filling station. So it's a perfect match what they're doing here in Hessen.
And that's exactly what's in the name of your company. H2 Logic means you're the logistics of H2, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but the hydrogen's logic.
Okay, hydrogen's logic, very good. Dr. Wolf, we are now coming to the project that you're starting. We were talking about the forklift truck, we are talking about the filling station. What are you planning now for the next 6 months?
First of all, I would point out whether we have, either we speak about stationary stations or mobile stations, we have always the same challenge. There is one forklift truck or 2 or 3 and one filling station. Imagine in the daily world we have one filling station and one car. This doesn't fit from the cost. So coming to the project, this is a very sexy project. First of all, we provide the customers, the potential customers, a real project. They can touch it, smell it, use it, and have not to pay all the costs for the filling station and the truck.
So I don't have to buy a forklift truck and I don't have to buy the filling station and can try it either.
You don't have to buy the entire project. You buy the activity, the service, no? The time you will use the service and so on. And this, I think, or we think, is a way to bring the projects to the customers. No? So they have lower costs. They can also consider that technology is in the next few years is changing. Or whatever, they can use it. They can show it. All the co-workers, look, that is what we have, and they can earn.
It's some sort of test drive. When I buy a new car, I do a test drive.
This is a payable test drive. Yes.
Okay, but it's a test drive. I can have it for 4 weeks, not only for 1 day.
That's for 4 weeks, for a certain period. I think there are certain agreements with potential users and so on. Yes, you can use it and not have to pay for the entire project. You have to pay for what you will use in the certain time.
Yeah. Mr. Andreas, you get the forklift truck to the customer and also the filling station, and he just can't handle it.
This is very important, and this is very interesting in this project, that we are not making only a demonstration project of 1 or 2 days. We want the forklifter really to work for 2, 3 weeks, 1 month, really as a normal forklift track, and not as a special one where you just drive a little bit, take very much care. We want the forklifter really to be tested in hard conditions, in real working conditions, to prove that a forklift truck driven by a fuel cell can absolutely compete with the other possibilities of battery or combustion or LPG or whatever else. But the point is really to have an industrial use of this forklift truck, and that it's to prove that it's possible and feasible.
And as I understand it, it's very ambitious, because you just put the forklift truck there and the filling station, and it's not 24 hours surveyed, but the customer himself shall handle it. So it's quite easy to handle.
Yeah, he has to handle, of course, the forklifter, which is quite similar to a battery forklifter, and the filling station is realized that the customer itself, so there will not be somebody from us supervising the filling process. Of course, we will be there for a backup system if there is a problem, but the customer will fill himself his truck and learn the handling of this, of the refueling, of going to the filling stations, understanding the filling stations, and understanding the process of how a forklifter works.
Aren't you afraid he's doing some mistakes and everything blows up or something?
No, nothing. No, nothing will blow up.
It's so easy to handle, Mr. Westenholz. This couldn't happen.
The handling is to connect the filling nozzle and the right nozzle, and there is only one, so he cannot mix something up. And the next point is to push the right button. So it's not so complicated.
Dr. Wolf, this is not for free, because what is for free is nothing worth, you know, we say in Germany. It costs a little bit, but it doesn't cost the whole technology.
It costs a little bit, but it costs a little bit more than the customer are paying for. This is, let me say, also the reason why the H2BC initiative is working with. But we hope that this is one way, a new model to bring the technology to the customers. To, let me say, to reanimate some projects, some activities, to demonstrate the technology, as Mr. Andreas already mentioned. This is, I think, very important, and however, I think this is a sexy project. No?
And what do you think? At the end of the 4 weeks, a customer would say, well, this convinced me very much. I will now only have fuel cell forklift trucks.
Yeah, this is what we want.
Okay, that's what you want. And, well, but it's still too expensive, Mr. Westenholz, isn't it?
Well, no, it depends on how you... There's many ways of calculating it, but the easiest, if you want to do a cost calculation for a forklift going against the internal combustion engine, so LPG and diesel, is where the best opportunity is to make a business
but if you have in-house logistics, you don't want the emissions probably.
No. Going against the battery forklift is a different story, but there are other issues that the customer may be motivated by, battery swapping, infrastructure, space, so there's many things, but our experience is that it many times is customer specific, how much they weigh the different factors that play into the total cost of ownership.
And maybe, Mr. Andreas, you're also interested in a green image, probably.
Yeah, CO2-free logistic. We give here the opportunity the customers to test a complete, if we work with an electrolyzer, we produce the hydrogen with an electrolyzer, which is today feasible and not something which is for the large future. And we give the possibilities, the companies to test for the future a complete CO2-free logistic. And if we use a redundant electricity coming from solar panels or wind panels, we then really have the complete chain. And this is, I think, one of the big ambitions of this project, to prove that it's feasible, that it can work under normal conditions, to bring up the fuel cell and to validate the fuel cell in normal working conditions, to start to come away from prototypes and really to start to have series. And I think some companies, and we have more requests than we are able to do in this 6 months. This is very important. So the industry,
which is very good to hear, indeed. Yeah.
The industry is really interested in using this forklifters. They want it, and there are many companies which say, okay, we know that it's not price compatible, but we want it because for us it's important to stop this CO2 emission.
Gentlemen, we are running out of time. It was a very interesting conversation with you. I would like to invite everybody to have a look at the forklift truck, which is just down the aisle on the left-hand side, or just visit you all here at the booth of Hessian, the Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Initiative of Hessian. All of you will be there whole day long and the rest of the week ready for discussions. I thank you very much for this interesting talk here on stage, and I thank you very much for your interest.